A guy that maybe you know, Jimmer Fredette's coming on right now.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So
the Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah,
The
Jimmer's
Jimmer
on
Fredette.
next. So.
I think I still say his name every time I shoot a three. So.
let's bring in the
love it.
Jimmer
Yes.
Fredette, former lottery pick, U.S. Olympian, and always a pleasure to have on the Wise Guys our friend Jimmer. Hey, Jimmer, two of your biggest fans just left the set. And it was great having them with us, but I don't know if you heard Will say, now every time he shoots a three, he still says your name.
Oh man, every time I kick a field goal, I say Will's name. So
Hey,
we're in
Will,
the same boat.
Jimmer just said every time he kicks a field goal, he says your name. So there you go.
Hey,
That might be the best duo at BYU right now. Those guys are great. They are phenomenal at what they do, and so consistent. You take that for granted, but us football guys know that is not consistent. You never know what can happen with kicking, so it's been impressive.
That's right.
it's not terribly different from free throws, is it? It's a timing thing. You got to do the work to make it look easy, right?
Exactly. Definitely a timing thing, definitely a muscle memory thing. That kick, he's done it so many times. He knows exactly his mark. He knows exactly, how much he needs to put on it, how much lift he needs to get on it, depending on how far it is. All of those things that go into it. And he's done an incredible job. I mean, I kicked a little bit when I was in high school because we didn't have a kicker. And 70% of the time we just decided to go for two because I was not there.
Yeah, people forget Jimmer played football in high school.
Jimmer did everything.
Yeah, and was good, very good at football. Back in our old home state, upstate New York. That's why Jimmer and I we will forever be buddies and boys because we're both from upstate New York for sure.
So look, you were just back in China. Were you negotiating a new deal with Shanghai to keep playing hoops, or what were you doing over there?
No, I wasn't. I still get called from teams in China.
Yeah.
Still get called, and they still want me to come over and play. But obviously, at this point, I'm still rehabbing. I'm back with the family. I'm doing my stuff and enjoying my time. But I was actually over there with Under Armour doing a 3x3 basketball camp for 18 kids in China. They brought in a group of guys from all over the country to just kind of do like an elite basketball camp. So I was able to go help run that as a coach and be able to, instill some knowledge in the kids. And they're really good players. They worked hard. We had a lot of fun. And then at the end of it, they brought in a team from Thailand and Malaysia and Serbia to have like a tournament for guys and girls.
Wow.
And it was a great experience, really fun. They worked hard, they listened, and you can't ask for anything better when you're running a camp. But they were good players. It was elite talent.
That's cool.
I know you're rehabbing, Jimmer, and getting back in shape, and it was just such a shame to get kind of that Olympics cut short. But I know how much fun you were having playing 3x3 and getting ready for the Olympics and doing all that. Is there more in your future, or are you just rehabbing to get healthy and coach and do everything else? Or are you thinking, oh, there's a little bit more left in me. I'm going to come back and play this again?
Yeah, the mindset's not there right now. I physically could do it. I feel good as far as an athlete and my rehab and everything. And I could get there. Mentally, I'm not there right now. I'm more of, I enjoy being home and I enjoy being with the family and kind of doing my other things that I have going on right now. And for me, 80% of it is where my mentality is. As far as if I'm going to be a great basketball player in the court, most of it was because of my mentality. It always has been. And the rest of it is being able to shoot the ball and kind of do all these things. But it's the mindset. So if I'm not fully into it yet, at this point, it's not in the cards. So we'll see if that changes in the next few months. I'm kind of teetering, and it could go either direction at this point. So we'll figure it out, but I'll see how the rest of the winter goes first, and then we'll go from there.
Jimmy, these Cougars are teetering a little bit, but now they're teetering on leaning toward turning the corner and getting their stuff together. They've won 2 in a row with Baylor coming in tomorrow night. What do you like that you're seeing?
Yeah, they're just being aggressive. I mean, Richie's playing great, right? Like, he is very consistent right now. He's shooting the ball at a high clip. They've needed it, and he's been able to kind of be the guy that they kind of have gone to. which they needed a guy to step up to be able to do that. And Richie's kind of taken that mantle and said, "Hey, I'm going to get you points, and I'm going to score the basketball, and I'm going to be aggressive." And obviously, Yegor has played much better the last 2 games. He's looked more confident. His shot has been starting to fall a little bit, especially last game. He's looking to take more shots. I think he's getting back into it now. I mean, he was out for a few games, and sometimes that throws rhythm off. But he's getting back into it, and so I think those 2 guys obviously playing really well is important for them down the stretch. I want to see Dallin continue to get better and to keep plugging along and try to keep being aggressive, because I think if they have 3 guards that are playing consistently well on any given night, you can win in that league, because you're going to need all 3 of them some of those nights to win some of those games. And at least if you can have 2 of them on at any given night, and then throwing it into Foose, and hopefully you can get him going every once in a while and on good matchups. All those different things are important. So I've liked what I've seen. They've played with a lot of energy the last 2 games. They could have put their heads down and gone a different direction, but they haven't. And that's credit to Coach Young and his coaching staff and the players on the team, and just being competitive and saying, "Hey, we got to change this. We got to change it now." And it only happens with results on the court. So I'm looking forward to the Baylor game. That's going to be a good test for them, obviously. But it was great signs. And, obviously when they play at the Marriott Center, it's a whole different ball game, and they play really well there.
With Yegor, these last 2 games obviously have been really, really good for his confidence, especially to see the ball go through the bucket once in a while, actually consistently. What would you like to see from him in his progression against Baylor? Baylor, another really physical, athletic team. That they've got him at home. How do you see his game growing, and what would you like to see out of him tomorrow night?
I want to see him start to take the physicality to the defense. I think he sometimes lets these guys get into him. A lot of the guys that are playing against him, especially in the Big 12, they're smaller, strong, quick guards, and that's kind of what you see. And they get underneath you, and it's a different feel. It's a different vibe than necessarily playing in Europe, where it's not as much of that going on. So it's just kind of a different type of style of play. So I want to see him be aggressive. He's got obviously he's got great height. He's got a good frame on him. I think the thing is I want to see him get into his guys before they get into him, and take that aggression and use it against them. Being able to do the Magic Johnson, being able to get up the court. You don't have to always play with the ball in front. Use your back, get into them, be physical, then create separation, and then be able to get off of it and do what you need to do. Obviously, once he gets off of a ball screen and he gets off of it clean, it's extremely hard to guard, because he knows the reads, he knows where to pass it, he knows when to shoot it. He's got his no look down to the corner for the lobs. He's very, very good, but it's about getting into the screen and making sure that he sets it up properly so that he comes off, and then they have to help, or they have to switch. So I want to see that aggression, taking that physicality to the defense.
26 NBA scouts are supposed to be at this game tomorrow night. That's not bad.
Quite a few.
So when you were closing in on National Player of the Year award winner and moving into the lottery projection, and more scouts were watching you, did you notice, or were you just too caught up in your senior season and trying to beat San Diego State and all that stuff, or was it a weight on your shoulder?
You weren't too aware of it. Coach obviously wasn't coming in and be like, "Hey, we got 26 scouts at the game tonight." And he was like, "No, we're trying to beat UNLV, and this is how we're going to do it." So you're more focused in on that. Obviously, you're aware. I mean, everyone knows at BYU that Yegor is probably a top 15 projected pick. And because of that, you're going to have a lot of scouts there, especially because they haven't seen him a lot. Mm-hmm. So they want to see him in person. They want to see him live. They want to see how he plays. So because of that, there's going to be a lot of scouts at every single game. And they're aware of that. They understand that. But at the same time, I know that they're focused on the task at hand. You look way better to NBA scouts if you're winning basketball games.
Right.
And that's just the fact, right? If you're playing well and you're winning basketball games, you're going to look much better no matter what your stat line looks like. So I think that that's something that's important. I know Coach is preaching that. I know the guys understand that. So hopefully they don't feel any weighted pressure. I'm sure they're going to, it's the new norm at BYU. That's what's going to happen. I mean, you got guys coming in that they're going to have 30 NBA teams at pretty much every game. That's just the way it's going to be. as they move forward. So, get used to it. If you're not used to it now, get used to it.
Yeah. Jimmer Fredette's on the Wise Guys with us, presented by Brady Plus and distributed by the Deseret News. I want to talk about that a little bit more, Jimmer. So the latest recruiting numbers are out for next season's class. ESPN ranks BYU's 2025 class number 7, just ahead of North Carolina. When would I ever have thought that I would say that? BYU's recruiting class is just ahead of North Carolina, right? AJ DeBansa, he was named a McDonald's All-American today. He's going to play in the McDonald's All-American game on April 1st in New York. You just said get used to it. So give us a little bit of a forecast. What do you see? Is this sustainable? Is this like the new normal? We're going to get these kind of kids every year at BYU? What is going on?
I don't think you're going to get a kid like AJ every year, right? AJ is a different animal. That guy is a touted number 1 pick. He could arguably be the number 1 pick if he left this year, right? Him or Cooper Flagg.
Mm-hmm.
And he is an absolute animal. There's just not a lot of players out there like him. But I do know that coach wants to go big fish hunting. Like he just does. Yeah. And I think that's his priority. He's got some money behind him, and BYU's obviously got a great collective, and they understand they want to be in the national spotlight, and they're trying to go with the kind of that blue blood type mentality. What Calipari did at Kentucky a long time is you get a core group of guys that play for multiple years, and then you go after 2 to 3 big fish every year to supplement them as freshmen, along with the veteran teams. Duke does that. North Carolina tries to do that. Kansas and Kentucky, they all try to do that. And, BYU is trying to, follow in those footsteps. So it is sustainable, but it's difficult, right? It's difficult. You have to be recruiting, obviously, at a high level. You're going to have to continue to get the support of the NIL and the collective to make sure that they're behind you, and you'd have to play well. You gotta have successful seasons, and if you don't have successful seasons, you're going to see money leave. I mean, it's just the way that it works in college sports. You want to see some type of elevation of the program, and I believe it's going in that direction. I think that coach obviously believes in that. He's going to develop pros, and you're going to see guys that are playing in possibly all-stars in the NBA that went to BYU. And, we haven't seen that before. So it's an exciting time. And, obviously coach has a plan together. His staff has a plan of what they want to do. And I think that's what they're going to try to do. And that's what you're going to see.
One thing we haven't seen before is a BYU cruise, and the ship set sail in April, and you guys are going. And while you're on the high seas, you're going to be conducting shooting workshops. How is that? Tell us about that. How's that going to work out on the boat?
It's the first time I've heard of it, Dave. So I am excited about it. We will see how they go. I'll teach everybody beef, balance, eye, elbow, follow through. We'll get through that, and we'll make sure that they get their good form. So if they got a cord on the hoop, I'll be there all the time. I'll be taking pickup games, and we'll be going out there, and we'll play some 3-on-3, and we'll play some cutthroat and see what happens. But I'm not taking it easy on anybody.
My job in the cruise will be I'll introduce Jimmer, and then Whitney and Brendan and I'll just sit there and watch him teach, and we'll relax.
There you go.
We'll have free.
Whitney's going to be teaching the cheer.
That's true.
She's going to be teaching.
That's right.
How to backflip, do all the things, and so she's excited about that.
Well, this got us thinking. How many continents have you hit a 3-point shot on, and have you ever made one at sea?
I've never. Well, we've played really close to the sea at 3x3. Never on the sea. I haven't played on the sea before, but we've been right on the ocean in many different places. And how many continents? Let's see. I've scored in all of them except for Africa at this point.
Wow.
And yep. So I have not been to Africa. I would love to go to Africa at some point. Whitney wants to go out on safari 100% at some point. And my boy Charles is from the Ivory Coast. I got to try to get over there at some point.
Right.
That would be great.
I was just working out with Charles yesterday. Yeah, he was in the gym yesterday. We talked.
You know what?
For a long
Charles
time.
Is always working out.
I know. He is a specimen, Jimmer.
He is in the weight room
Yeah.
constantly now. He is.
Yeah, we had a nice visit yesterday in the weight room. So
history will be made. You'll be shooting threes on the open water.
Yeah.
That'll be something. You have to take in the wind, the current, right? It's going to be.
That's the thing that's the thing with outside, especially on the ocean. That wind is something fierce. You have to shoot it at 3-4 inches to the right and it kicks it back to the left, and then of course as soon as you shoot it, it stops, the wind stops, and then it just airballs, so it happens all the time.
It's gonna be fun.
Well, if you want to spend some time with Jimmer, I'll be there as well, hosting a bunch of stuff. You can get more info cruising with the Cougs. April 11th through 18th. You can go to byucruise.com. So just byucruise.com and come join Jimmer and I and sail. That'll be fun.
Hey, let's roll out with our 5 questions presented by Strategy Square. Trent Pratt's coming up here in just a moment, BYU head baseball coach. Tonight, we've asked Jimmer to prepare as a basketball world traveler who grew up in Glens Falls, New York, to reveal the 5 most exotic foods you've had to eat that you never imagined you would ever eat.
How do you want to do this, Jimmer? You want to do this like, you can just throw 5 out there. Are they in any rank order or?
Yeah, I'm going to throw 5 out there that I did eat, and then I'm going to throw 5 out there that I did not eat that I saw.
Okay, that's even better.
That's even better because I'm not crazy exotic. Like I'm not a picky eater. Like I ate pretty much everything you put in front of me. But there are some things that I was like, you know what, I just can't do it. So
okay.
We'll go through the 5 that I ate first.
Okay,
so we'll go with something
easy.
easy first. Just red bean desserts. Have you guys ever had those?
Red bean dessert? No.
Yeah, it's an actual bean. It's a red bean that they put in a lot of like pastries in China, and it's not very good. I'm just gonna say that. It's not sweet. It tastes like bean, but they do it in a lot of stuff. So that's a simple one.
When the American is biting into a cream-filled donut and there's the nice, flavorful stuff over there, they bite into it and there's red bean stuff.
That's exactly right. And
okay.
I was a little taken aback at that.
Okay. That's a one yuck for me. Okay.
That's first. Next one was donkey. Tried donkey.
What?
Don't tell me it tastes like chicken. What does donkey taste like?
It does not taste like chicken. I've been told it tastes like horse. I've never tried horse before.
Well, that's good.
I've been told it tastes like that. It's very tough. It's a very tough meat, right? So it's not great. It's not awful. Not the worst thing I've had.
Did they grill it or did they bake it? What did they do with it?
Yeah, they just basically like a grill it. You know what I mean? Like a burger type thing. So,
all right.
Yep, like ground donkey, basically.
Oh my goodness.
Next one we'll go with chicken feet soup.
Wow.
So they get the chicken, they cut off the feet and the legs, and they just throw them in a soup, and then you just kind of eat it up. And
is that crunchy? Is the feet part crunchy?
It's very crunchy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Very crunchy. They fry it.
Hey, Jimmer, Eric on the live stream from Singapore says, I love red bean desserts. It's a staple. So
it is. It's a staple in Singapore. It's a staple in Asia in general. I don't love it just because it's not sweet. And I'm an American. It's just sweet, right? Like you said, I need Krispy Kreme and crumble.
Oh yeah.
Those types of
Don't blame me at all. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So then, next one we'll go with durian. I don't know if you guys ever heard of durian before.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
It is a fruit. And it might be the stinkiest fruit I have ever seen in my entire life. I didn't know that I was eating durian. I thought it was like some type of pineapple, that type, and I ate it, and it was, in my opinion, it was really bad. People over there love it. And they love the smell of it, but I could not get the smell out of it. I don't know how to describe it. I've never smelled anything like it before in my life.
Does it grow on a tree or what?
I think it does, but I'm not positive on. Don't quote me on that. So if someone knows, actually, I
durian.
had it in Singapore. So if the guy who's back from Singapore,
have you ever had durian? So
yeah, let them know. But the scent is unmistakable, and I just can't do it.
Okay.
Just can't do it.
All right.
Last and not least for the 5 is cow tongue.
Oh.
Yeah, cow tongue. Didn't know I was eating it. They had it on like some type of Japanese grill, and they're throwing meat on, when you just kind of eat the meat. And I grabbed it and ate it, and I immediately was like, nope, did not like that. And I was like, what is that? And my teammate's like, oh, that's cow tongue. I was like, well, thanks for telling me.
How about a heads up?
Did it look like a tongue though? Like,
no, it didn't. It didn't look like a tongue. It's just like a shaved piece of beef is what it looked like. But it was very tough.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So,
Jimmer, I'm afraid of your next 5.
These are ones you ate.
Yeah, I'm
These are
afraid.
ones that I tried.
You
These are ones
tried
that I
them. You
tried.
tried them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so
and by the way, Adam Streeter says durian is gross. And then,
Thank you.
Then
I
Eric
appreciate it.
Eric
See?
Waite, who spent time in Singapore, says smell durian every day. Can't take it on public transportation. Thankfully, it's against. You can't do
You don't
that.
want
So you're
that
not
on a
allowed
train.
to take it on public transportation.
It's very, very potent. Like, I can't even explain it, but you would, you know, someone probably made a perfume over there on it.
so bad, so bad.
all right. So now the list of things that were actually you wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with the tame one first. Boiled bullfrog. Just straight, literally a bullfrog that's sitting in the pan and it's boiled, so it looks like it's like a regular bullfrog, and you can just pop them in your mouth.
Is that even legal in the United States? You just take.
That's-
You just there's yeah. So you
That
says no
doesn't sound
thanks
good.
on the frog.
I have eaten frog.
I'm
but
full. I'm not going to do
I've
the
had
frog.
frog legs down in Louisiana.
Yeah, I think that's different.
Frog
Yeah.
legs, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
People have had frog legs. This
Yeah.
is different.
This sounds
Definitely
way
different.
different.
Hey, and by the way, Jimmer, the guys have Adam Streeter and our two experts on durian. Adam says it does grow on a tree. They also grow in Thailand. It's big. And then Eric says it's a big, pointy watermelon-sized fruit. So,
Hey, Bullseye says I've had cow tongue tacos and they were delicious.
oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Everyone's got a different palate. You know
Yes,
what I
they
mean?
do.
So, okay, so back to the stuff you would need. Boiled bullfrog sounds pretty bad, but let's go with the
Yeah,
next.
there we go. So next one is snake skin.
Oh, you don't even. I didn't even want to. Go ahead.
Just
I don't even
straight
want to.
skin. There's no snake. They just take the skin and had it off, and it was just sitting in there, and you could just take it and eat it.
Why? Why?
Like Doritos, snake skin.
Literally,
That's
like Doritos.
disgusting. Okay.
Yep.
You did the
So-
right thing on that one.
Yep. Next one. My coach told me about this story. First time he went to China, he was with a group of people. He went to a very great restaurant that was like high end, and for their delicacy, they brought out this little bowl of live baby birds, alive, and they just threw them all in their mouth and just ate them straight up, beak, eyeballs, everything. Just ate the whole baby bird.
That
So
no, but you didn't do that, of course, right?
no. I would absolutely not do that. My coach did though.
Oh, gosh.
My coach did.
What is going on over
Wait,
there?
is that not the worst? We're on number 3. That's
There's
not
two
the worst.
more. I don't even know where we're going on this.
Yeah. There's two more. So next one is raw alligator sushi. So they literally had at this restaurant a cardboard, like a cutting board that had this, kind of looked like guts on it, and then they had like on the outside they had the actual the arms, the tail, and the head, and then the cutting board was the body, and then they just threw the alligator inside sushi on top of it, and people were just taking it and eating it.
That's just awful. Yeah.
That's
once
really
again-
bad because it's
That's
raw.
just
It's
not
straight,
good.
like,
Raw alligator sushi.
I'm
Okay.
glad you were able to say I ate a late lunch. I'm
Yeah.
not going to pass.
Yeah,
I don't need this.
I didn't eat dinner, which is good. So
All right, what's next?
All right, last one. One of the most foul things that I saw was we would go to the train station, and we get on train, and usually when you're at train stations, it's like street food. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of just grabbing and going. And I didn't eat a whole lot of it because a lot of it was Asian street food, and I just didn't know exactly what it was. And they would get these bags of this, like it looked like it was just like a weird goo almost, and they'd put it in a bag, and it would be all red. And then they would get gloves, like these plastic gloves, and they put plastic gloves on. And then they'd get on the train, and they'd open up these bags, and they just start eating out of this bag, and it would look like it was like red, bloody goo, and it ate it, and it was cow brain, just straight raw cow brain. And I couldn't even look at it, to be honest with you. I could not look
why? Why will you eat
that was,
straight raw?
and I
cow
was like,
brain?
you guys are doing this in a like, we're not at a good restaurant right now. We're at the train station, and I'm like, guys, come on, what's going on here? And they're like, it's delicious. They loved it, and but to be fair, they came over to the U.S. when I was here. We played at the Houston Rockets, and all my Chinese teammates came over, and we brought them to a Mexican food place.
Yeah.
And I was over there killing guacamole, and they thought it was the most disgusting thing on the planet. They're like, this green mush. What is this? This looks terrible. And they didn't like it. So, I mean, everyone's got their thing.
I know. You're right. Everybody has their own palate. Like my kids take me out and they're like, "Oh, should we get some oysters?" I'm like, "No, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen." Do you like oysters, Jimmer?
I've eaten some oysters because down in New Orleans they do some good oysters down there, but they basically put like bacon and butter and like.
Okay, well that's a whole different thing. Like
it's all the stuff around it that makes it good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jimmer, has any of this inspired Whitney in the kitchen to come up with any, like stuff like this?
Whitney, the first time that Whitney went over there, she was pregnant with Wesley, our first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we got over there and we went to this they had us in this Asian buffet. And she's like, I still can remember the smells from the first time in there, and I will never, ever eat the Asian buffet again, whether it's here or in the States. So she unfortunately is not, picking up any of the food habits.
You're a survivor.
To be fair, there was some great food over there as well.
You're
a lot
a survivor.
of great dumpling. Great stuff.
Oh,
Trent Pratt's jumped on with his head baseball coach at BYU. You just listened to Jimmer's delicatessen over there. Can you match any of that from your travels?
No, I hope I never do. I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It's not
Fun
good.
Stuff. My teammates were good to me most of the time, though. They always were like, "Hey, you should try this, and you shouldn't try this."
Yeah.
We don't want to get sick, so they were always good.
That's
Thank goodness
awesome.
for good teammates. Hey, it's going to take us a while to recover from this interview.
I'm
But
not hungry. I can tell you that. So
hey, we're proud of you. We're glad you're on the mend. We'll see you soon. Are you going to be out any ball games before we get to tournament time?
I'm going to be out with my kids. I always bring them out to a game. I'm going to bring them out to the February 15th game against K-State.
Nice. Perfect.
So I'm there for that one. Excited for that. My kids love it.
All right.
seeing that, and then
Give our best, everybody.
Yeah, we're looking forward to spending time. Brendan and I are looking forward to see you and Whitney on the cruise. That'll be fun. So
That'll be awesome.
See
Sounds
you,
good.
man.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.
The great Jimmer Fredette, live from Colorado, just home from China. Thank you for watching The Wise Guys.
if you like what you're watching, you can help us out by subscribing and hitting that notification button.